Hi, I'm Abby and this is Abby Matt Reads, and big news, I'm on 79 subscribers, more than I ever thought I would ever get, and I just kind of want to see if I can reach 100 subscribers before my next birthday, in which I'll be turning 25 of course, on the 27th of July. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. It would mean the world to me to get to 100 subscribers and feel like a proper booktuber. Just 2 books again to review this video. Hope you like it. Let's get going. The first book I'm going to review today is, if I can grab it, Hollinghurst's The Sparsholt Affair. Now, when this book opened, taking me to 40s Oxford and introducing me to the privileged Everett, Freddie and Peter with its academic writing style, it reminded me immediately of Donna Tartt's Secret History, and anyone who's read that particular book will know that's not a bad thing. But this book is very different. It kind of explores male homosexuality throughout recent generations, taking a look at the feelings behind it, the motives of homosexuals who were not allowed to do certain things in certain time periods, and how things became more acceptable as the generations go by. It's told in many parts. The first part introduces us to these young, excitable men in university life set against the backdrop of World War II. Hollinghurst sets the scene nicely with a nice steady pace. The characters we meet are not exactly likeable, but they are good, solid and very interesting. There's warm, soft Everett, who lives under the shadow of his amazing, intelligent, successful father who is a writer. There's Peter, who's brash and embarrassing and a painter, and Freddie, who seems to have his head screwed on more than the others, but does lie a lot for seemingly no reason. They're all pretty obsessed with this new student, David Sparsholt. At first, it's not easy to see if they are just curious or if they have some kind of obsession with this man. Certainly, Everett seems to lust over him in a homosexual manner, and Peter is desperate to paint him nude. And the team work together to finally get to meet David, bring him into their fold, and even meet his fiancée, Connie. The narrative is old-fashioned, which can be fine if you like it like that, but you do have to concentrate on the words in the book, otherwise you will get lost. It's not an easy read, but it is a good read, and it works, and it hooks you into 40s Oxford straight away. It doesn't explain especially in part 1, doesn't explain everything straight away, which keeps you turning the pages, trying to unravel the social commentary. Something that happened to me though is a lot of old university references went over my head, like things like the Greek alphabet and what the hell a scout is. A sexual encounter does happen between the awkward Everett and the iconic David. The lead up to this unexpected encounter is told detailed and credibly. The unlikeliness of it happening fades away, and while it is not what I would call romantic, it is very sensual. The raging war that's going on stops these boys' education short, and part 1 ends. Part 2 begins and takes us straight forward in time, where we meet Johnny, David's teenage boy, who is also struggling with his own sexual identity. He's on holiday with his family and a foreign exchange student he met in France the previous year, and he is confused about his feelings towards this boy. Throughout the book, I feel really protective over Johnny and he's being so vulnerable and so sweet. Throughout the whole book, the theme of sexuality is pervasive, and it's interesting to study it at this point in the book where it was still illegal. And being illegal is the baseline for something that David does, which actually sparks the Sparsholt Affair. It's a relaxing read, actually, and it's very interesting the way that it takes us through each generation with their each unique characters and viewpoints, learning about the legends of the previous characters some who are still alive in the separate generations, and learning their legends and what they did and their history and how it implements their own life. This is a character-based book, and I would have preferred a bit more plot, even though the characters do stand out and are very real and solid. I thought that the ending dragged on a bit. I think the book should have ended sooner than it did. Also, there were a lot of small characters introduced later on in the book that it was hard to keep track of. But it still works. It doesn't diminish how good the book is. Hollinghurst actually won the Man Booker Prize with another book, The Line of Beauty. And I think I'm going to be interested in reading that now that I've read this. And I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next and last book I'm going to be reviewing today is All the Beautiful Girls by Elizabeth J.Church. This book is set in the 60s, at first in Kansas and then moves to Las Vegas. And it's a rather unique and brave tale. Lily Decker is just 8 years old when her entire family dies in a car crash, and she is the lone miracle survivor. She is sent to live with her Aunt Tate and Uncle Miles, who is disgusting. The pace that follows Lily's childhood is fast, but it doesn't leave anything out. And the tone is quite gentle too, which it needs to be, because we soon discover that her disgusting Uncle Miles is raping her repeatedly, and she starts to self-harm at a young age. In an unlikely turn of events, Lily befriends the man whose car crashed into her family's. She calls him the Aviator, and he becomes kind of her guardian angel, maybe out of guilt. He regularly sends her books, which she devours, and when her passion for dancing becomes obvious not only to the reader but the Aviator, he buys her a scholarship at a dance studio. And Lily claims that it saved her life. I don't know what quite to make of Lily's Aunt Tate. She's formidable, but not awful. She just doesn't really know how to love. I feel sorry for her in a way, that she was always told her sister was prettier and better than her. She's got no children of her own, and even when she finds out about her rapist husband, she doesn't really know how to react. She goes into a kind of denial, like she doesn't know who she would be without her husband, because she has not got much left. You really feel Lily's love for dance, and it becomes her salvation. As she grows older, she decides to save up money and leave Kansas to go to Las Vegas and dance on stage, and you have to admire her determination. The change from broken down Lily to Ruby Wild, as she now calls herself in Las Vegas, is very fast, and maybe a bit too fast. You also have to consider in the theme of sexualization, as the only job that Ruby can get dancing in Las Vegas is as a showgirl, where she has to be overly sexual after all that abuse that has been given to her throughout her childhood, and how maybe does it even empower her. There's also the notion of family, and that family is what you make it. Ruby might have lost her family, but she maybe makes a new one. She lists in Las Vegas the Aviator's contacts as her emergency contact, and falls straight in with 2 girls who become her best friends and love and protect her. Now, if you think I'm giving you a lot of information about this book very fast, that's because I am. The whole book does. The pace is sometimes a bit too fast, and Ruby just goes from being a new girl in Las Vegas to being an absolute star of the show, raking in all the money and flirting with Las Vegas celebrities in no time at all. And it doesn't detail the journey of how she got there, so it just doesn't seem actually believable. There's also the bad life choices that Ruby seems to make that annoy me a bit, seeing as I think the author wants us to believe she is a perceptive, intelligent woman, and at times she is. So these mistakes she makes along the way can become rather frustrating. Yeah, if you get past that, you'll love the atmosphere of the tale. 60s Las Vegas with its showbiz, its glitter, its parties, the celebrities, the social awareness that was happening at the time, the news events that were happening at the time, the social rights movements. It sets the scene perfectly, and it's a good getaway for your mind. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget what I told you at the start. I'm desperately trying to get to 100 subscribers. So if you did enjoy that video, even one tiny little bit, please subscribe. It'll make me so happy. And also, if you liked it, put a thumbs up down below because that'll help out the channel. You can find me on Twitter at AbbieMacReads, on Facebook at facebook.com/AbbieMacReads. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell button so you'll get notified of all my videos. Thank you. Bye.